Hello there, Irene here from the marketing team at Work Japan. Today we've got something super practical for you. I'm gonna show you how to craft the perfect Japanese style resume. Whether you're a seasoned professional or just entering the job market, understanding how to create a compelling Rirekisho is key to landing that dream job in Japan. So yep, with all that being said, let's get started. Before we dive into the juicy part, if you're planning to apply for jobs, the first thing you need to do is to create or update your resume. Your resume is the first thing recruiters will see before they meet you, so it's important to make a good impression. While the content of your resume is important, it's also crucial to have a well-written and properly formatted resume to increase your chances of getting an interview. Many foreigners who come to Japan to look for jobs don't realize that their resumes are often overlooked because of incorrect grammatic. If you want to have a real chance of finding a job in Japan, it's essential to have a correctly formatted resume. Let's check out how to prepare your own Rirekisho now that we have cleared up the essential parts about resumes in Japan. So for reference, this is what the Rirekisho or resume looks like, which I found in Japan.dev website. Now let's start taking a closer look at the first section, which is the basic information. At the top of your resume, you want to boldly present your name. Below that, don't forget your address. Make sure not to use abbreviations as this will be very unprofessional. Always start filling your address with the name of the prefecture you lived in if you're living in Japan. And then as for your contact information, include your phone number and email address. Simple, right? This is your introduction to make it easy for employers to contact you. Now the photo. A picture is worth 1,000 words, and in this case, it can make or break your first impression. I suggest adding a professional-looking photo where you appear as presentable as possible. It's important that your photo reflects your current appearance. It's a good idea to smile without showing your teeth. Additionally, the photo should have a plain background and it's better to be in a proper business attire. Avoid wearing hats, piercings, or accessories that are too flashy, especially if you're applying to a company in Japan. Also, make sure your hair is tidy. While having a well cap and trimmed beard might not be a problem if you're applying to IT companies, I still recommend not having any facial hair if you don't want to take any risks. Regarding the photo format, it should be in the standard size of 3 by 4 cm and must not be older than 3 months. If you are currently residing in Japan, you can easily find photo booths located in various business areas or train stations. These machines can take your picture in the correct format for a reasonable price of around 600 to 800 yen. So yeah, remember you want to look approachable and ready for the job. Moving on to your career objective. When writing about your career goals in your Rirekisho, it's important to be concise and precise. Clearly state your aspirations and what you aim to achieve in your professional life. You can mention the type of work you are looking for, your long-term career objectives, and how your skills and experiences align with those goals. It is crucial to customize your career objective to match the specific job or industry you are applying for. Employers appreciate candidates who demonstrate a clear understanding of their own career path and how it aligns with the goals of the organization. So now let's move on to academic and work history. So in a typical Japanese resume, academic background and work history both go in a similar section. Recruiters like to see everything in chronological order, which is how you should be prepared. List your academic journey in reverse chronological order. Include the name of the institution, your major, and graduation date. Keep it clear and straightforward. Your education sets the foundation for your professional story. When listing your education on a resume, it is recommended to mention the last two institutions you graduated from. If you're a college graduate, you should mention your high school and college. However, if you have a master's degree, you can skip mentioning your high school and include only your college and master's degrees program. It is important to start from your education and list it in chronological order, moving towards the present day. There is a subtle difference to note when it comes to listing college education on a resume, especially if you are following a non-Western style. You should mention the years you started and finished college as separate entries, each on a separate line. For example, you should include a line that reads entered X college or university and another line that shows the year of graduations as graduated from X college or university. When filling out your work background in the Japanese resume format, you should mention any full-time positions, including contract-based ones, if it was your main job during a time period. However, internships or other part-time positions should be mentioned in the other more fitting sections of your Rirekisho, such as the self-promotion or reason for application section. It is essential to fill the timeline with your work experience so that there are no gaps. If you did have a period where you weren't working full-time, you can list volunteer work or similar. After you've listed all your work experiences up to the present day, make sure to include this, meaning up to present day, at the end of this section. The correct way to conclude this section is to write this, which means that's all. Don't forget to align the last line to the right. If you're not sure whether you'll also be submitting a Shokume Rirekisho, which includes more detailed information, you can write the number of employees of the companies you worked for. You can also include a description of your position next to the names of each company. However, it is important to note that a Rirekisho typically doesn't include such information. These details are usually found in a more detailed Japanese resume format, along with an explanation of how your experience relates to the job you're applying for. Therefore, if you're also going to be sending a Shokume Rirekisho, avoid repeating this information twice and simply leave it out. Finally, when applying primarily in Japan with Rirekisho and Shokume Rirekisho, you usually don't need a cover letter. Highlighting your skills is crucial. In this section of your resume, you need to focus on highlighting your skills that make you a suitable candidate for the job. You should avoid making it too lengthy or adding irrelevant information that might affect your application negatively. It's important to strike a balance between being specific and generalized, as you don't want to make your resume unusable for other job opportunities. In Japan, it's common now to tailor the Rirekisho to the exact position, but you should still provide a good overview of your relevant skill. For instance, you can use a common phrase, "I'd like to make use of my past experience regarding," and then insert your field of work here to showcase your strengths. However, it's essential to use polite Japanese when describing yourself in this section, as it's a formal document that you'll be sending to. In the same section where you promote yourself, you also have the opportunity to explain why you are applying for the job. While there may be some overlap between this section and your self-promotion, it can provide valuable context for the specific type of position you are pursuing. So, it is a good idea to fill it out. Be specific in your explanation, even though the Rirekisho is a short form. Think about your motivation carefully and choose a few key points that you can explain in a few sentences. If you have any special interest or hobbies that are relevant to the position, mention them as part of your motivation. This will demonstrate your sincerity and help set you apart from other applicants. However, avoid sounding too vague or pretentious just to fill out this field. This could make you seem insincere and hurt your chances of getting the job. If you're unsure what to write, follow the same advice as for self-promotion and state that your past experience in the field is why you are applying. Don't forget to use polite Japanese language when starting your reasons, just like in the self-promotion section. In this section of your Rirekisho, you have the chance to explain any special requirements you may have that you need to be accommodated, as well as your expectations and hopes regarding the job. You can decide to talk about your requests during the interview, as there is likely to be one following your applications. If you do not wish to fill this section, that is also fine. You can write something like, "I will comply with company regulations," which is what most people tend to write. Alternatively, you can write, "I would like to discuss the conditions with you," which is also an acceptable answer. However, you should not hesitate to write genuine requests in this section. It is not unusual to state salary expectations here. You can also use this section to measure your availability for an interview. Sometimes it's the extra details that makes you stand out. In a Japanese resume, it's customary to include additional information such as age, gender, marital status, and sometimes even a photograph. Including hobbies, interests, and extracurricular activities can give a more complete picture of the applicant. In certain cases, the applicant's blood type may also be included, as some people in Japan believe it can reveal personality traits. It's important to keep in mind that these practices may vary depending on the company or industry. If you look online at Japanese resume template, you'll realize there are so many of them and you have no idea what is the current latest format. In the year 2020, there were a few changes made to the standard resume format. The latest update to the template have removed certain sections including commute time, number of dependents, spouse, and spousal support obligations. These sections are still available on the most other templates found online. Another change is that the gender field is now optional, meaning you can choose to leave it blank if you do not wish to share this information. Lastly, do Japanese resumes really need to be handwritten? In the past, it was believed that a handwritten resume was necessary to show your enthusiasm and respect to your potential employer. Companies even considered it disrespectful to submit a resume with errors or corrections. However, in the digital age, this is no longer the case. You can create your resume as a digital document and easily send it to as many job listings as you wish. The format for resumes in Japan is quite distinct, but it can be created easily if you learn how to write it. While some companies may not require Japanese resume during the application process, in most cases you'll need one when you start the paperwork for joining the company. Therefore, I recommend you to be prepared and have your resume ready when you start your job hunting. And there you have it. I hope this information didn't overwhelm you. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. And if you have any questions or tips of your own, share them in the comments below. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you never miss out on our helpful content. Thanks for tuning in and best of luck on your job seeking journey in Japan. See you on my next video.